When you think of an American political dynasty, what names come to mind? The Roosevelts? The Adams? Maybe the Bushes? What if I told you the single most powerful dynasty in American history is one you've likely never heard of? One family bloodline that has produced more US presidents than all of them. A legacy built not just in boardrooms and banks, but in the dark, illicit shadows of the Chinese opium trade. If you, like me, believe history's most captivating stories are the ones hidden in plain sight, then you've found the right corner of the internet. My name is Beatrice, and together we're going to uncover the quiet dynasty that secretly built modern America. That dynasty is the Delano family. Originally the Delanois, a name with echoes of French Protestant nobility. Their American story begins in 1621. A young man named Philip Delano arrives in the fledgling Plymouth Colony aboard the ship Fortune. He isn't on the Mayflower itself, but is a cousin to one who was. He is adjacent to the founding story, but not yet at its center. He has to earn his place, and for decades, earning it was a brutal struggle for survival. The family put down roots in Dartmouth, Massachusetts, building a life from the harsh New England soil, but their entire world was nearly erased. During the violent conflict known as King Philip's War, their settlement was utterly destroyed. Imagine for a moment seeing everything you've built, every home, every hope, burned to cinders. All that remained were the black timbered skeletons of houses against a smoky sky. This could have been the end of their story. But out of these ashes came the first brilliant power move of the Delano dynasty. Philip's son, Jonathan Delano, made a marriage that would change their destiny forever. He married Mercy Warren. This wasn't just a good match. Mercy was the granddaughter of Richard Warren, a passenger on the Mayflower, and more importantly, a signer of the Mayflower Compact, the founding document, the very source code of power and legitimacy in the New World. This marriage wasn't just social climbing, it was a grafting of their family tree directly onto the trunk of American aristocracy. It was a declaration. With this single strategic union, the Delanos were no longer just survivors. They had secured their place among the colonial elite, laying the first stone in a foundation that would one day support presidents. And that day came sooner than you might think. But the first time Delano blood reached the pinnacle of American power, it wasn't under the name Delano. It wasn't loud or obvious. It arrived with a man known for his quiet determination, a humble tanner's son turned failed businessman who found his destiny in the crucible of war, becoming the unshakable general that won the American Civil War for the Union. The 18th President of the United States, Ulysses S. Grant. The connection is a subtle one, a hidden thread woven 2 generations earlier. Jonathan Delano's granddaughter, a woman named Susanna Delano, married a man named Noah Grant. Their grandson was Ulysses. Think about that for a moment. The man who accepted Robert E. Lee's surrender, the stoic face of Union victory, the symbol of rugged American perseverance, carried the legacy of those early Plymouth survivors in his veins. This wasn't just a distant relation, it was a direct validation of the family's ascent. When Grant took the oath of office in 1869, it marked a quiet, almost secret coronation for the Delano lineage. The seeds planted by that strategic marriage a century and a half earlier had finally borne fruit in the highest office of the land. The dynasty had its first president, and he would not be the last. But before the Delanos could claim their next president, they first had to build an empire, and the foundations of that empire were laid with the darkest of materials. Meet Warren Delano Jr., the grandfather of a future president. In the mid-19th century, he sailed to China and became a senior partner in a firm that dealt in a single, devastatingly profitable commodity, opium. This wasn't just shrewd business. It was an enterprise that poisoned a generation, shattered families, and built an immense fortune on the back of mass addiction. And what happened to all that dirty money? It flowed back to America, where it was washed clean. It funded respectable businesses, endowed hospitals, and even helped found prestigious institutions like Lehigh University. Picture that for a moment. The manicured lawns and stone halls of a university, paid for by the ruin of countless lives an ocean away. It forces us to ask a deeply uncomfortable question. Can a noble legacy be built on such profound suffering? Does the good it creates ever truly wash away the bad? The family's shadows weren't just in business. Warren's own cousin, Columbus Delano, served as Secretary of the Interior under President Grant. But his tenure was so riddled with corruption, allegedly profiting while the Native American tribes under his care starved, that he was forced to resign in disgrace. But the family's masterstroke was laundering not just their money, but their very name. In 1844, Franklin Hughes Delano married Laura Astor. Yes, that Astor family, the real estate dynasty whose fortune was the modern equivalent of over $1 billion. Just like that, the Delanos had converted their dark new money into untouchable old world power. With their fortune secured and their name cemented among the absolute elite, the Delanos were now positioned to seize power in a way America had never seen before. And that power would manifest not just once, but twice more in the highest office in the land. First, almost by accident. In 1923, President Warren G. Harding died suddenly, and his vice president, a man descended from Philip Delano's line, ascended to the presidency. His name was Calvin Coolidge, another Delano in the White House. But he was just the prelude. The true culmination of the Delano project arrived with a man who seemed destined for greatness from birth, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. His mother, Sarah Delano, was the daughter of the opium magnate Warren Delano Jr. himself. That dirty money, now washed clean through generations of influence, had finally produced its masterpiece. Franklin was related by blood or marriage to 11 previous American presidents. He wasn't just joining a club, he was inheriting it. As the 32nd president, FDR would redefine America, leading it through the Great Depression and World War II with his transformative New Deal. For 12 years, he held the nation's fate in his hands, building the modern American government as we know it. He was the absolute zenith of Delano power. But here, the story takes its most fascinating turn. Because the most potent opposition to FDR's vision didn't just come from politicians, it came from his own family. His fifth cousin was a woman beloved by millions, an icon of American pioneering spirit, Laura Ingalls Wilder, the author of the Little House on the Prairie series. Beneath the surface of those charming childhood stories, Wilder was embedding a powerful counter-narrative, a fierce belief in self-reliance, rugged individualism, and a deep distrust of government overreach, everything her cousin Franklin's New Deal stood against. Her books were a quiet, conservative manifesto, and her private feelings were even stronger. In her diary, she wrote about her cousin, the President of the United States, confessing a shocking, visceral wish that someone would assassinate him. Think about that. One family, one bloodline. It produced the man who built the American welfare state and the woman who became a foundational author for the modern conservative movement that seeks to dismantle it. They were two sides of the American soul, forged in the same family fire. It's a fascinating divide. On one side, the architect of the New Deal. On the other, an icon of American conservatism. In the battle of the Delano cousins, whose philosophy do you think has had a more lasting impact? Let me know in the comments below. But while the Delanos battled for the soul of America on the ground, their story wasn't finished. Their ambition, it turned out, wasn't even confined to the planet Earth. The most astonishing chapter of this dynasty was written not in Washington or on Wall Street, but in the profound silence of outer space. The most unexpected descendant of Jonathan Delano wasn't another president or a titan of industry. He was a pioneer of an entirely new kind, a test pilot with nerves of steel. His name was Alan Shepard. As one of the original Mercury 7, America's first astronauts, Shepard was already a national icon. On May 5, 1961, he strapped himself into a tiny capsule and became the first American to touch the cosmos. A monumental 15-minute flight that proved humanity could, in fact, reach for the stars. But a decade later, Shepard would go much, much further. As commander of the Apollo 14 mission, he journeyed across the void, and when he stepped onto the moon, he entered a realm beyond history. All the turbulent legacy of his ancestors, the wars, the opium fortunes, the ideological battles, all of it dissolved into the deafening silence of the lunar landscape. There was only the fine grey dust under his boots, and the profound, lonely beauty of the earth, hanging like a blue marble in the infinite blackness. In that moment, he planted the Delano family flag on the ultimate new frontier, a footprint not just for a nation, but for a bloodline that had journeyed from a humble wooden ship 4 centuries earlier, all the way to the stars. So from that single footprint on the moon, we draw our gaze back down to the earth they helped to shape, the Delanos, a 400-year saga of survival, ambition, and quiet conquest. They were more than a family. They were a current running through American history, navigating from the deck of a wooden ship to the Oval Office, from the dark trade of opium dens to the bright halls of philanthropy. They embodied the heart of the American dream and its most cynical critiques, often within the same bloodline. Their story, in all its light and shadow, is a testament to how one lineage can leave an indelible mark on the soul of a nation. And that's what we do here. We uncover these hidden histories. I'm curious, which great American dynasty should we explore next? We've delved into the Bushes, the Roosevelts, the Astors. Let me know in the comments who you think holds the most secrets. If you enjoyed this journey and want to be part of the next one, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our little corner of the internet. Thank you for sharing this story with me. Until next time.